This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. Barely 24 hours after it emerged that Professor Frimpong-Boateng has been arrested, the special prosecutor is tonight on a manhunt for another former senior member of the defunct Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. In the last couple of hours, Joy News can confirm that the special prosecutor has secured a court order to arrest Charles Bisu, who was the former secretary to the Inter-Ministerial Committee. Now, this order was secured after Mr. Bisu had failed to earn an invitation by the special prosecutor last month. Lawyers for Mr. Bisu have tonight also filed a counter-suit against the special prosecutor, yet again, alleging various human rights violations. They are additionally urging the court to set aside the warrant issued for Mr. Bisu's arrest. Now, legal affairs correspondent Joseph Akable has been following this story and joins us with details on Zoom. Joseph, do we know specifically why the special prosecutor is going after Charles Bisu and has secured this warrant for his arrest?
We understand it has to do with the investigations that the OSP is carrying out into the activities of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. It's the same investigations that resulted in that invitation that was extended to Professor Frimpong-Boateng, who chaired the committee last month, and now we know that it resulted in his arrest as well. The chronology of what we've been able to pick up so far is to the effect that on May 3, the special prosecutor wrote to Mr. Bisu informing him that he was a necessary person for the investigations into the activities of the IMCIM. He was asked to appear at the offices of the investigative body on May 22. It is important to note that lawyers for Charles Bisu then wrote to the OSP requesting a copy of the petition forming the basis of this invitation. They hold a view that the special prosecutor, per its mandate, can only investigate a matter when there is either a referral from either someone in authority or an investigative body that's investigating a matter, or perhaps when someone walks up to the special prosecutor and files a petition. And so they wanted a copy of this particular petition. And also they made a request that the meeting, which was supposed to take place on the 22nd May, should be rescheduled to 25th May due to, quote, a domestic emergency, which they indicated that Mr. Bisu had. We understand that the OSP refused to accept this request for a change in date, and also did not grant the request for a copy of the petition that has given rise to this particular investigation. And so the May 25 meeting, which was supposed to take place on May 22nd, what the petition of the special prosecutor did not happen, and that resulted in the special prosecutor heading to court to secure the court order.
And we know he's already in court against the OSP. How different is this latest issue from that one?
And so this particular matter, the latest suit, in fact, it becomes the third suit, but the previous two has to do with investigations that were conducted into that documentary that was published by Anas Arabia Anas, the Galamsey one. You recall Charles Bisu was captured in that particular documentary. And the then special prosecutor, Martin Abidi, started under his tenure. You remember in October 2022, when the current special prosecutor published his report on investigations he was undertaking, he did indicate that he had concluded investigations in that regard. In fact, just in December, when he was preparing to file charges against Charles Bisu then headed to court making a series of allegations, including similar ones that he has made in this particular instance. In the first place, he says he wanted a copy of the petition that gave rise to that investigation. And he made a point that at the time that petition was sent, by the information he had picked up, it was authored by Kisie Jabin, the current special prosecutor, who at the time was in private practice and acted as counsel for the Tiger Eye private investigations. And so when he didn't obtain a copy of that, and just when the prosecution was about to commence, then he alleged those human rights violations to ask the court to restrain the special prosecutor from investigating him. And so those two suits relating to that particular matter are actually pending at the courts. The courts is yet to deal with whether to injunct the OSP from investigating him or not. But this latest legal action and the arrest warrant that has arisen has to do with the entire probe on the activities of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, which is being undertaken, and the persons of interest, like we know so far, includes Mr. Bisu, who the OSP is now trying to arrest, then Professor Frimpong-Boateng, who has already been arrested and currently on bail.
Joseph, thank you very much. And thankfully, lawyer for Charles Bisu just joined us on the telephone line. Nana J. Bafwewa, thank you, sir, for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good. Are you formally aware of this warrant that the special prosecutor secured?
I've heard of it, but your publication has also given me an indication, has also informed me, or, basically an information. I'm yet to receive proper confirmation because I've not seen it. And so, therefore, I'm still giving the special prosecutor the benefit of the doubt because I don't believe he would do that, right? I don't believe he would, disregard proper discretion in the way and manner he is handling this matter. I know Mr. Kisie Jabin personally. I mean, when he was in private practice, I know a few of his colleagues, and I don't think they will do this, right? But be that as it may, right? I'm not also in a position to doubt the publication. I would want to believe that the media would not have published this without, the right information, okay? And so I'm also inclined to also believe the media, except that, I'm in a state of disbelief because I don't think that they will act in a manner which, in my humble opinion, will be seen as being an improper exercise of their discretion.
Have you called or checked with the office of the special prosecutor?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I'm just reading about it, even though, we had heard that they were making such moves. So we'll see if we can confirm it. But as I said, until I get the confirmation, I'm still in a state of disbelief.
If it did secure a warrant, it would have been from a court of competence jurisdiction. That's easy to check.
Yes. But you should know the court from which it was secured. There are several courts in Accra. There are several high courts. There are several district courts. There are several circuit courts. And so I'm not too sure where it was secured from. And so checking will be difficult unless you want to go from court to court, which is, a very difficult task. And so we'll wait to see what they are going to do with the warrant. We'll wait to see. Or they will wait to see what we'll do in the face of what has been exposed. So we are all going to do the waiting game. They will wait to see. We'll also wait to see.
Aware or not, you accept that your client can. Aware or not, you accept that your client can be arrested any minute now.
Oh, of course. I've no doubt about it. But Evans, very humbly and respectfully, I've been in this litigation game for a while, right? I've the spirit of a rat, and I also have the spirit of a cat, right? And Kisie Jabe was also a consummate litigator, and so he also has the spirit of a rat, and he has a bit of a spirit of a cat. So whilst you are looking for the rat, right, while the cat is looking for the rat, right, the rat is also looking for an escape route, right? This is a language he understands, and I also understand, right? And so, the game will continue. As we speak, there are 3 pending suits against the special prosecutor, right? There are 3 pending suits against the office of the special prosecutor. Why this inordinate haste? That is the emphasis, I would want to put on it. Why this inordinate haste? Why? Why is he in a hurry to? Why can't he allow the processes to run their course? Right? Is it because he's got scores to settle? Why? What's happening? I don't want to think or preempt it in that manner. Right? And so, as I said, it's a cat and mouse game as we speak. I mean, he cannot wait for the court processes to be completed. He's gone for an arrest warrant, right? And so, therefore, as a litigator, I also know what to do. You use
the word escape. Is your client on the run?
My client has never been on the run. He's a politician. He intends to compete for a political office. He wants to go to parliament. He's on the ground working. Why would he be on the run? What has he done? Right?
I'm only asking because you use the analogy of a rat and a cat, and the cat is looking for a way to escape.
I think that the context is very important. I said Kisi Ejabin is a litigator, and he has the spirit, being a litigator, he has the spirit of a rat and a cat. And I am also a litigator, and I'm also made of the same spirit. What I mean to say is that in litigation is just a chess game, right? Everybody is exploring an opportunity to take advantage of. He is exploring an opportunity to take advantage of, hence clandestinely securing an arrest warrant. When it has come to my attention, I know what to do. That is what I meant by the rat and the cat game. So please, it should not be taken out of context.
So
twist should be put to it.
So for clarity, your client is not on the run.
Charles Bisu is in Ghana. I had a meeting with him just today in my office. I had a meeting with him yesterday in my office. Charles Bisu has not been on the run. The fact of the matter is that this arrest warrant has been necessitated by an invitation that was made to Charles Bisu. Charles Bisu responded, and I heard Yusuf Akable read it on your network not long ago, responded by saying that, look, give me time, I will come. I intend coming to see you at a particular date. Now I have a domestic emergency to attend to. Charles Bisu also said that, look, what has necessitated this investigation is there a petition? Serve me a copy of the petition so that I can prepare and assist you in whatever investigations you are conducting. You respond by saying that, contrary to Charles Bisu's request, you are only able to allow him about 3 days extension. And so he should come on the next Monday, right? And that unless he comes on the next Monday, you are going to come after him. Okay. Now, meanwhile, the petition he requested, you fail to make available to him. And you proceed to say that he should rather make available to you copies of documentations. What documentation are you talking about? Documentation to speak to what? To respond to what? You never stated so. Right? And so, is it proper discretion? Is that the way you conduct investigations? Right? Now, if you invite a person, right, because if you wanted to arrest him, you wouldn't have invited him. You would have straight away secured an arrest warrant to arrest him. You never did that. Okay? You rather wrote to him asking him to attend to your office. Okay? Now, this person says that, give me a week to do so. Right, to the extent that you never secured an arrest warrant, but you thought it prudent to invite him, right? Couldn't you have waited for that 1 week? Then, whatever necessitated that invitation, he says, produce that documentation to me. Why do you want to hold that documentation to your chest? Why? You see, my brother, we have transitioned from pre-1992 to 1992 to post-1992, right? Governed by the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. The tactics and the acts, right, which made us say no to the pre-1992 days, the military government, cannot become pervasive simply because of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. In any event, the powers that the Office of the Special Prosecutor exercises in our jurisdiction, right, is a chip of the powers of the Attorney General. Even the Attorney General will not behave that way. Even the Attorney General, the powers of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I emphasize, is a chip from the powers of the Attorney General. Even the Attorney General will not behave the way the Office of the Special Prosecutor is behaving. Right? And so, my brother, we did not transition from military rule into democratic rule for the Office of the Special Prosecutor become a pseudo-military agency to witch hunt and harass people. we need to respect the fundamental human rights of people under the 1992 Constitution. It was for such acts or acts of this nature that we said no to military rule. We are not going to countenance it. Our courts will not countenance it. As we speak, there is another suit in our human rights court.
When did you file
by
this
Charles Bisu? By Charles Bisu.
Well, when did you file this?
I don't have the file readily available to me, right? But there is another suit where Charles Bisu is complaining of harassment and breach of a fundamental human right. When the special prosecutor went to secure the arrest warrant, I am sure he didn't disclose all these facts to the court from which he secured that. And so clearly, that order would have been secured, right? Without the court paying recourse to all these.
Yeah, but Mr. Bafwewa, yes, you represent Charles Bisu. And
yes,
as you say you're about to confirm, and we have confirmed this, the special prosecutor has secured this warrant for the arrest of your client from a court of competent jurisdiction. If a court granted it, then the court is convinced that the special prosecutor is acting according to law. And so this accusation you level against him of being a pseudo-military agency, the court disagrees with that, and that's why the court has granted the warrant to arrest your client.
Okay, so let me explain to you what he means. The arrest warrant would have been secured ex parte, which is without notice to Charles Bisu. And so the court would have acted based on information which the Office of the Special Prosecutor gave to it.
But you've said in this interview, Mr. Bafwewa, that the Special Prosecutor told your client that if you do not report yourself, I'll come after you. So he's on notice.
Hello, Evans.
Yes,
can you please allow me to finish? The court would have granted this arrest warrant based solely on information which the special prosecutor would have given it. We are saying that if the court was privy to certain facts, including but not limited to pending suits and motions for interlocutory injunction, it would not have granted or made an order for that arrest. And so therefore, the court made that order without being seized with the global evidence in this matter. And so the court would have granted it without properly exercising its discretion, not through its fault, but because the Office of the Special Prosecutor would not have disclosed the entirety of the facts in this matter. That's the point I'm making.
Finally,
and so the court has the power to grant to make an order for arrest. The Special Prosecutor also has the power to make an application for the court, make an application to obtain an arrest warrant, but it ought to act right in a manner which is candid, in accordance with Article 23, and that would have required that in making that application, he would have disclosed every detail of his interaction with Mr. Charles Bisu, including but not limited to pending suits and motions for injunction. I am not sure he did that, because if he did that, the court wouldn't have granted that arrest warrant. Wouldn't have made the order for arrest.
Let me ask you, as we speak tonight, your client is a wanted man. Will he turn himself in?
No, he's not going to turn himself in, because that arrest warrant was improperly procured, and so we are going to take steps to cure that.
And I believe from what I've heard already, you may have filed a process in court in an attempt to set this aside.
That is why I told you that in this game of litigation, right, you need to have the spirit of a cat and at the same time a rat. Kisia Jabin has it. That is why he will clandestinely obtain an arrest warrant, right? The spirit of a cat in me will respond accordingly.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Nana J. Bafwewa, and he is lawyer for Charles Bisu. Charles Bisu is a former secretary to the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. And as you've just been hearing here on Top Story, the special prosecutor has secured a warrant from a court order to arrest him. This is coming barely 24 hours after it emerged that the chairman of that same committee and former environment minister, Frimpong-Boateng, Professor Frimpong-Boateng, was also arrested and subsequently bailed. We'll hear from Professor Frimpong-Boateng pretty shortly, but I want to quickly bring in the convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, who yesterday asked the special prosecutor to be balanced in the approach when it comes to pursuing individuals who may have something to do with the illegal mining menace. Ms. Ashigbe, so what's your reaction to all that we've just heard in the last few minutes?
Well, it really does not change my position that much. And you know that the case of Charles has been in the past. What for me would make a difference is that where are the 8 other people who were supposed to be, also invited or arrested? Because we all know that the inter-ministerial committee was not only made up of the chairman and the secretary. There are other ministers, and who were part of the committee itself, and there are other people who also acted in particular positions for the inter-ministerial committee. And if you see the report that the professor also gave out, the names that have been mentioned in that. So you'll be expecting that if the investigation started from October last year, and also the report by the professor is something that the special prosecutor is considering, then we really would want to see, and if you remember yesterday, whilst we were with you on Top Story, Elton was talking about some information they've gotten that there were other people who were also on the radar of the special prosecutor. So for me, I think an arrest warrant for Charles, it's in the cost, let the legal people deal with that, but it really does not change it. And it does not deal with the issue I raised yesterday in terms of the time where the professor is being arrested, when he had just issued this report out, and we've had several people also now filing suits against him and all of that. You would want to see that if the special prosecutor is looking at this very independently, which I hope he is doing, then other players who've been mentioned and other players who had anything to do with the inter-ministerial committee as well also need to be invited. And, the same way the professor has been treated, and now Charles is also being treated because he has not responded to the invitation as the professor did, and an arrest warrant has been, then I'm hoping that certain ministers who would also be part of it, ministers, former ministers, and other players, other politically, people would also be treated the same manner, and that would then give us hope that this is being dealt with. And if I'm just to let you know, today we were at we were invited by the CID. The Director General of CID got a chief inspector to call me on Monday. So today, myself, Lawyer Martin Pebu, and 2 others from the steering committee of the Media Coalition, we went to meet them, and this was on the back of the petition against the directors of Akonta Mine, and we had written, talking about the fact that we had not heard anything from the police, and we expressed, in certain terms, that we were a bit disappointed in the fact that we do not seem to have heard anything, and there was not much progress happening on that step. But they assure us that they are working on the case, and very soon, we will hear something. But for, the pain for us is that this is a case where, the evidence is overwhelming. There's a minister who has made a claim against a company. The Minerals Commission, the regulators have also, reinforced that particular claim. There's evidence, there's media reportage, there's media footage, and you still have, this case still being investigated for this long.
Yeah, did it indicate at all? We've seen Charles Bisu now. He's a man wanted. Yesterday, Frimpong-Boateng was arrested. Indicate at all if they've invited Akonta Mining executives, anybody being charged or cautioned or anything?
Well, they indicated that they've invited him, and then I think they've had some conversations with him. At this stage, Evans, if you allow me, let me allow them to finish their work, and you'll be the first person I'll tell the details of all of that. But it's important that we keep the pressure on, and we let the police know that it is important they do what is right. And when people who seemingly, with all the evidence that's available, have done wrong and sinned against the Minerals and Mining Act, the state should be acting the way it ought to be acting, so that, it does not tell those who, again, want to feel that, once you are politically connected, then you can have a field day and do what you ought to do. Over 13 acres of land has been destroyed in the town of Nibe Forest Reserve, and it is sad that this case is dragging. But we want to take the assurances given to us by the superintendent of police that we met today and hope that we will see some prosecutions happening, because the AG himself had told us when we petitioned that he was not in charge of primary investigations, but it was the CIA, the police. So, and then the IGP forwarded it to the Director General of Police. So we are hoping that the superintendent and the boss, that the new Director General of CID, would do the needful, and then the Attorney General, who does the prosecutions, will also do what ought to be done.
Thank you very much, Ken Ashigbe. I want to hear from you. 055-1111-997. We have more on this illegal mining war that the special prosecutor is waging, and the views of Professor Frimpong-Boateng on what he told Cabinet.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket of provisions,